Holy cow, Cubs continue to struggle against left-handed starters. Welcome back to Holy Cow Podcast, your go-to source for all things Chicago Cubs at the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan channel. Let's talk about the Cubs' three-game series against the Houston Astros at Dakin Park. First off, I don't like the fact that it's not called Minute Maid Park anymore. I don't even drink Minute Maid, but Orange Juice Field was a top-tier name for a baseball stadium that specialized in crooked numbers. And they got rid of the home run train? Trash. I had to get that off my chest. Still hate the Astros since the time they was in the NL Central. I love the fact that the Cubs beat them in that little rebuild race we had last decade. That was kind of kicked off by the 2013 draft. If you recall, they drafted Mark Appel with the number 1 pick in that draft. Cubs took Chris Bryant, number 2. I love how that turned out for both teams because you know the rest. Chris was Rookie of the Year in 2015, MVP and champ in 2016, while Mark never really was able to get out of the minor leagues. I think he had a cup of coffee with Philly a few seasons ago, and that was it. However, it does bother me that their rebuild had a little bit more staying power than that era of the Cubs. Don't like them, don't care for them. That's why Kerry Wood set 20 of them down back in 98. Anyway, let's get to the series. The Cubs and Astros split the first 2 games, with the Astros taking Friday's opener 7-4, and the Cubs bouncing back in a Lake Michigan-sized way on Saturday, winning 12-3. Cubs lost Sunday's rubber match by getting shut out 2-0, and the Cubs have now concluded this little road trip going 3-4. Friday night's Cade Horton had his worst major league outing of his career. Gave up 7 earned runs through 4 innings, and he told reporters after the game he got his ass kicked. No shit, shorty. He also did say that he will learn from the experience, and he recognizes that it is a viable lesson for potential playoff environments. The exact quote was, "The experience right there will help me be better in October." You're damn right, because the Cubs have been mid all June, but they will be high grade in October. Stamp it. The Cubs' struggles against left-handed starters was put on display all weekend. There isn't much 2025 data on Astros starter Brandon Walter, with this being only his 5th appearance on the season. But his last appearance was against the Angels, where he gave up 9 hits and 7 earned runs through 6 innings. And as you know, the Cubs lineup does prove a type of get-right situation. We have got to figure out this left-handed malaise that this team is in, been going through this month, or it's going to be proved to be very obvious rock of kryptonite come September and October. Or Carter and Jed need to bring in another bat that specializes in hitting left-handed pitching. Preferably someone who could play third, perhaps, maybe. Cubs draft pick Cam Smith, who was traded to Houston a few months ago in a Kyle Tucker deal, hit a 3-run home run this game against the team that drafted him. He described it as awesome, top 5 things on his list. Kyle Tucker, on the other hand, he went 0-4 in his first game back against his former team. It's way too early to start talking about this trade and who won the trade and all that stuff. But Cam, he was drafted in 2024 out of FSU. And he's already hitting in the middle of the lineup for a 50-win team. If the Cubs don't get Kyle Tucker signed, I don't even want to think about it. But it's going to hurt. But Saturday got me feeling like the Cubs are going to get the job done, because Saturday game was a different story altogether. The Cubs exploded offensively for a 12-3 blowout win. They batted around in the 4th inning, in which they brought 11 guys to the plate, hit 3 home runs, and scored 7 total runs on 7 hits. Dansby Swanson actually got a hit with a runner in scoring position. Actually drove him in. That's crazy. That lets you know how crazy this outburst was from the Cubs on Saturday. It kind of lets you know it's not a typical day. The spotlight was firmly on Kyle Tucker after going 0 for 4 on Friday. Tucker had a dominant performance Saturday. He went 4 for 5, hitting a home run, doubling, and driving in 3 RBIs. 17th home run of the season that left the ballpark almost at 106 miles per hour. He also stole his 20th base of the season. Seiya Suzuki and Michael Busch also hit those other 2 home runs. The run protection gave Colin Ray some cover because at the beginning of the game, like a typical Colin Ray start where he's going to implode at some point. He allowed 2 men on in the first 2 innings, but got out of it thanks to some great defensive plays behind him. But that 3rd inning, he gave up a hit to former Cub Paredes. Myers reached on the fielder's choice before he allowed a 2-run home run to Cam Smith. Listen, I don't want to shit on the young man's career just as it's getting going, but I hope I don't have to hear his name for the next 13 years. That's the type of karma I don't need. Sort of a payback for that 2013 draft that I talked about earlier. Anyway, the run support did kind of settle Colin down as he did go 5 solid innings, allowing just those 2 runs and only 1 more hit after that home run. Sunday, unfortunately, saw the Cubs revert back to their struggles. They lost 2-0 in that shutout. They couldn't get anything shaken against the Astros ace, Framber Valdez, who pitched 6 scoreless innings on Sunday. This ongoing problem hitting left-handed pitchers is getting more and more glaring. They are now 11-13 on the season against left-handed starters. Jameson Taillon made something like a homecoming start for the Cubs. He's from the Houston area, so I know he won the show out. He matched Valdez with 4 scoreless innings of himself, but his pitch count got into the 90s by that point because the Astros are fouling everything off. I think they ended the game with 31 foul tips. Craig is going to be questioned for this decision. He let Jameson come back into the game to pitch the 5th inning. And he ended up visiting the mound after Jameson's 101st pitch, which the broadcast team had noted is now a season high for Jameson Taillon. I don't know what Jameson told Craig, but he convinced him to let him stay in the game and face Jose Altuve. It only took Jose 2 pitches. 2 pitches, he sent Jameson Taillon's pitch to the moon. Sent it right out in left field. And that broke the scoreless deadlock. That was all the scoring that the Astros needed because the Cubs couldn't get their bats off their shoulders. They finished the game 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, left 7 men on base. Looking at the series as a whole, a major talking point was the Kyle Tucker trade and his potential long-term extension. The trade was a big effing deal, getting an elite talent while giving up valuable players, but not elite players. They didn't give up a boatload for them. Cam Smith, Isaac Paredes, and Hayden Wesneski. They're good players, but they're not Kyle Tucker. They're not elite. Tucker himself stated that any extension talks with President of Baseball Ops, Jed Hoyer, will remain private, but he enjoys being a part of the Cubs organization and sees a good foundation for future success. Reports are suggesting that the Cubs front office and ownership have been strategizing about how to get Tucker to resign long term, and I understand that the cost is going to be greater than $400 million, and they are okay with that. Tucker says he loves it here, and I know he's a newlywed, so I want him to also marry the Cubs sometime this fall. This series also brought to light the Cubs' June doom, I guess you could say that. After scorching May with an 18-9 record, June saw the team tread water, 13-13 to end this month because they don't play tomorrow. Their runs per game, team ERA, and team slash line all declined in June compared to what they had in April and May, although they did increase their home runs throughout the month. This loss on Sunday capped off a 4th straight series in which the Cubs did not win and now have a 5-4 road record against all AL teams, which sounds good. But you got to remember the Cubs did sweep the Athletics in Sacramento back in late March. So they are 20 games under 500. So you can't really hang your hat on that. Looking ahead, the Cubs do have an off day tomorrow, June 30th, before welcoming the Cleveland Guardians to Wrigley Field for a 3-game set, starting on Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Cubs are throwing out left-handed Matthew Boyd, who's probably been their best pitcher all season. 2.65 ERA will tell you that. He's going to pitch against Cleveland right-hander Gavin Williams. Now let's turn our attention to the Cubs injury report. Here's a quick rundown of some key players and their statuses as of today. Miguel Amaya, he's been on the 10-day injured list since May 25th with a left oblique strain, a lot more than 10 days. He has resumed normal batting practice, catching bullpens and throwing. So he has an expected return of sometime in July. Right-handed pitcher Eli Morgan, he was transferred to the 60-day IL on May 10th with a right elbow issue dating back to April 15th. He sustained a setback in June 17th rehab outing and is seeking a second opinion for ulnar neuritis. So his return is TBD at this point. Right-handed pitcher Javier Assad, he's also on the 60-day IL since April 30th, retroactive to May 18th, with a mild left oblique strain. He sustained a grade 2 strain in a April 22nd rehab start, but has built up to bullpen sessions and is now on target to throw live batting practice soon. He's expected to return also in July. Finally, we have some somber news to share from the baseball world. Hall of Famer Dave Parker, known as the Cobra, passed away Saturday, June 28th at the age of 74 after a long battle with Parkinson's disease. Parker was a legendary outfielder who spent 19 seasons in the big leagues. He has a decorated career that included a 1978 National League MVP, 2 World Series championships with the Pirates and the Athletics, 2 batting titles, 3 Gold Gloves, and a Silver Slugger Award with 7 All-Star nods. He is also the winner of the inaugural Home Run Derby in 1985. Parker has 2,712 career hits, a 290 batting average, 339 home runs, and 1,493 RBIs. He made history in 1979 by signing a 5-year, $5 million contract, making him the first professional baseball player to earn $1 million per season. Big ups to him. After not being elected to the Hall of Fame by the Baseball Writers Association of America, during his time on the ballot, Parker was finally elected in late 2024 through a vote from the Classic Baseball Era Committee. He will be posthumously inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday, July 27th in Cooperstown. He will be remembered for his skill, style, swagger, and as a trailblazer, especially in the money department. That's all for this episode of Holy Cow. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things: bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.